FTX and the Clintons have a secret connection, and we discovered it. And also, Celsius is about to sell all of their Cardano. What is this going to do to the price? This is Around the Blockchain. Thank you for joining, everybody. Make sure you hit that like button. Let's just get right into the guests because we have an all-star lineup today, folks. On the top left, he just left a very big Twitter Spaces for us, so we feel blessed. AJ Pleasanton in that Twitter space. Were you talking Bitcoin, Algorand? What were you talking about?
We covered everything. We covered all the topics. I can't even pick one. We went a lot of different. Everything was a tangent, and nothing made sense. It was perfect.
Just like this show. All right. Also on today, we have Crypto Keeper. He's non. He knows this is correct. Crypto Keeper, it's been a while to have you on, so it feels good to have you back. How does it feel to be back?
It feels great to be back. I've been kind of off the charts, off the mainland for a little while. I'm excited to get after it. We got some good topics for the show, and I'm ready.
All right. Well, let's get off the chain, and we're going to get off the chain with Jenna X. And Jenna, we're not talking XRP. We're talking Cardano. Is that okay?
I'm totally down with that. Charles is my homeboy, so let's do it. I'm happy to be here on this fun Friday. Thanks, DZ.
We love Chucky Ho-Ho, and he also loves Cardano, and that is Big Pay. Big Pay. It's like every time you're here, we talk about Cardano. I swear I didn't know you're on today. But how is your Cardano bag doing lately?
Absolutely horrible. It's the SEC's fault. But at least it's Friday, and at least we're on the Around the Blockchain show.
All right. Well, let's get into FTX and the Clinton connection. Guys, I'm going to spit some facts, so you give me a second here, but it gained some new players today, namely Bill and Hillary. FTX is suing Bill's ex-speechwriter, Bill Clinton's ex-speechwriter, and Hillary's ex-aide, Michael Kives, and his company, K5. That's right. FTX is suing some former Clinton associates. This guy, the Kives guy, he was an agent as well. He did a Hollywood talent agency. He did some politicians as well. Arnold Schwarzenegger was one of his clients. Katy Perry, Gorbachev, Warren Buffett. So this Clinton associate, he was Arnold Schwarzenegger's agent. But before you wonder why this talent agency is so involved in the business world, he does have some business connections. He helped launch Kendall Jenner's tequila. So, this guy has some serious credentials in the business world. Well, Alameda, the FTX trading arm, they paid Kives and his company, K5, and his business partner for a social event. This social event had, quote, former presidential candidate, top actors, musicians, reality TV stars, and multiple billionaires. Well, after this party, FTX sent Clinton's associates $700 million, folks. That is not a typo. $700 million. Some of this was for the party. Some $400 million was for an investment with K5. This is K5's response, and we were under the impression SBF was completely legitimate. The other K5 co-owner, Brian Baum, guess what? He had a room at FTX's Polycule. This story just keeps getting thicker and thicker. I don't know what's going on here. Crypto Keeper, this is a hell of a story. There's a lot of wrinkles to the story. Do you think the mainstream media is going to pick up on all these connections? Or is this, maybe a little bit, there's too many moving pieces for everyone to follow?
How do I say this? Hell no, they're not going to pick up on this. The mainstream media, listen, first of all, the Clintons do everything that they can to silence anyone and everyone. And a lot of us know how they've been silencing people in the past. So when they get involved with something, you got to be careful. Okay. So we're talking about a powerful group of people here. So I think that's the first thing people know, that the mainstream media knows we can't be talking about them. So that'll definitely happen. The second thing is, and I didn't look deeply into all of the political affiliations of the people involved, but just starting off with the Clintons and going from there, the media is run by the liberal media, and we're talking about some liberal, personnel, if you will. And so, no, I think that they will sweep this under the rug. This will be another story that's not a story. This will be something that we can, be distracted by, God rest their souls, but like the submarine, news that's been recently, or whatever the news can put in there to fill the slot. It's not going to get coverage because the Clintons say so. And that's basically how that's going to go down.
All right. I tend to agree with that assessment. We do have someone just joined with the super member or the YouTube membership, Crypto Dix. I'm assuming this is a detective agency. So they're blockchain sleuths. Blockchain sleuths, everybody. Now,
Very nice.
AJ, I want to ask you about the why here, and why do you think they paid so much money? Why? Let me read the quote. Why does Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX want to party with a former presidential candidate, top actors and musicians, reality TV stars, and multiple billionaires? Why would they pay so much money for that?
Well, do you think Coinbase would be in such hot water if they were the second largest donator to the Democratic Party? I don't think so. I think that this was their entire plan, to line the pockets of like the upper echelon of the deciders, as we like to call them. Like, it is super obvious what they did, and it makes complete sense. It makes complete sense. Like, how do you avoid like getting in the spotlight? How do you keep the spotlight off you is what I'm saying. Like, how do you stay out of trouble? Pay everybody off. It's the American way. And SBF and everyone, they did it according to plan. They stuck to the playbook all the way down the street. And even when he got in all that trouble, all the politicians went out of the way to not mention Sam's name. Like, when Elizabeth Warren first tweeted about like the whole FTX fallout, she didn't say Sam's name. And this is true for not just Elizabeth Warren, but so many politicians. When we were in the Bahamas and we were doing the whole SBF thing, we watched the Attorney General of the Bahamas speak on television about the downfall of FTF and the effect it had on the Bahamian people. He didn't say Sam's name in a 20-minute speech. That's what happens when you dish out that kind of money. And what they did was the plan, and it worked until it didn't.
All right. And that kind of reminds me of an example. They're not saying something. It reminds me of Joe Biden when he had all the electric car manufacturers, and he's talking about Ford's electric cars and what General Motors is doing. It's like, wait a minute, there's one company that's missing here. I don't know. Something's not making sense. All right. Well, Jenna, the lawyers, they're fighting. They're trying to get back hundreds of millions of dollars from K5, saying, hey, this was gross negligence. We need to be able to get this money back. Why are the lawyers fighting so hard? Do you think this fight, is this going to ultimately end up in maybe some of the customers' funds, maybe get 50 cents back on the dollar? Or are the lawyer fees just going to eat this all away?
That's exactly what I was going to say. My guess is probably going to end up being around 50% of it, at least, because you figure it has to be like millions and millions and millions of dollars of fees to get back millions and millions of dollars of money. And I read a couple articles where, people are talking about how $200 million that they've already spent is legit, and this is why, and because it's so much work, blah, blah, blah. But at the same point in time, I don't think it can drag on for years and years, because if they're going to launch FTX 2.0, they're going to need to get these things resolved and wrapped up, but it'll probably eat up at least half of what they were going to get back, I would think.
Yeah, so if you're trying to get 100 cents on the dollar, I don't know if it's going to happen at this point. Now, big pay. This is a whole saga. We don't have the Netflix miniseries yet. We don't have Jonah Hill playing SBF yet. We don't have the easily consumable packaging for people to understand what the heck's going on with this whole thing. How would you describe the FTX saga to someone who's just unfamiliar with this whole entire industry?
It depends on what side of the political spectrum.
Good point.
Explaining to you, because I think if they're on the left, they're immediately kind of discount it and be like, no, that's not true. But what I would really say is, in the same way that you go to Europe and you use a currency exchange to get euros, there's a digital version of this for crypto where you can exchange all types of different assets. And, that exchange actually took in a bunch of people's money and they left it on there. They offered rewards to people. And once they did that, they essentially did some bad trading. They lost all of their money. But before that, there was a lot of commingling with politicians to get lobbying that is in their favor. But if you explain it to someone on the right, you won't even have to say much before they know exactly where this is going.
How would you explain it to someone who just really loves the saying FJB?
I would say the Clintons are at it again. Yeah.
Okay, that's worth. All right, I gave both of y'all 3 points for throwing out some shade towards the Clintons there. It is dangerous, folks. All right, Celsius fire sale. Let's talk about Celsius. What's going on with that beleaguered crypto exchange? Well, it's bad news for Cardano fans, aka me, aka Big Pay, aka maybe you at home who has not hit the like button yet. What is going on? Please go ahead and do that. Well, they just announced they are liquidating their altcoins, and they're going to convert these altcoins into Bitcoin and Ether. Looks like they have about 75 million ADA tokens. They're going to convert this into that starting on July 1st. This is when the sell-off is going to start. This will take days. They're not just going to, market dump all at once, but, they're going to continuously sell millions of Cardano tokens. Now, Big Pay, you're probably more entrenched into the ADO ecosystem than the rest of us. I'm kind of looking at their volume. I'm looking at what MinSwap can handle. I see what the trading volume looks like on Binance. What will happen when they start market selling the 75 million ADA? Is the price going to dump or is it going to absorb it?
I think it'll probably dump a little bit. I mean, 26 million is a lot of ADA, but it won't take too long for it to bounce back because there's a huge amount of people waiting to get Cardano at lower prices, even after the recent SEC news. So I think it may matter in the short term. If you just bought some ADA last week, it may suck unless you're, dollar cost averaging slowly over time. It may actually be a good thing for you if you're looking to invest. But this was always coming. We knew that Celsius was going to dump all of their assets. And I think using Bitcoin and Ethereum based on the recent SEC news is not a terrible idea for anyone who's actually trying to get some of their money back from Celsius, because as cryptos may see some rocky times, in the next year to come as this battle plays out.
All right. Yeah, it might get rockier before it gets smoother. Now, AJ, we were talking about Bitcoin dominance a lot this morning in the office. I want to ask you, is this a good move? Is this a bad move? They're swapping Cardano for Bitcoin and Ether. Let's just stick with Bitcoin, just a little bit easier to, encapsulate. Is switching into Bitcoin going to be a good move if this takes, let's just say, 3 to 5 years to get the money back?
I mean, it's probably not the worst move. I mean, Bitcoin's super, super safe, especially now with like the SEC aiming after every altcoin you love. So at least we know Bitcoin's a commodity. The leverage ETF got approved today. That's bullish news. I mean, Bitcoin dominance has been rising. Michael Saylor thinks it can go to 80%. I think it being over 50, it's like 51.9 or something now, and that's pretty high already. I mean, I don't think it's the worst move in the world. I mean, sure, there's more profitable move. There's always a more profitable move, but Bitcoin is super safe, especially now, considering the regulatory scrutiny. And with the Cardano, I mean, Cardano's market cap's like 10.5 billion and 26 million. That's like less than 1%. That's 0.25%. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
All right. Well, Jenna, some people are saying, well, Celsius thinks it's a big deal because they're dumping every single Cardano token that they have. I think it's $26 million in fiat value, roughly 75 million of these tokens. Does this spell doom for Cardano's long-term viability? Are you assuming, maybe they're looking at this and say, hey, Cardano might be a security. We got to get rid of this thing.
Dude, no freaking way. Like, seriously, nothing's changing with Cardano. This is just a bunch of FUD. Like, if you're invested, you believe in the token, whatever it is, nothing's changing. It has great fundamentals. They continue to build. And in the long run, this definitely won't matter. If anything, it's just going to be a good opportunity for, as Big Pay was saying, for people who are Cardano fans to maybe get a better entry price. But I don't think that's going to have any impact on Cardano in the long run at all. It's just definitely fun.
I see some chat saying, new drinking game, take a swig every time someone asks you to hit the like button. Well, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. All right, now, Crypto Keeper, let's go into a conspiratorial angle here. Do you think this market dump, this headline, this signaling that we don't want this asset, is there any chance there's coordination with TradFi to suppress the price so they can maybe accumulate for potential ETF or potential regulatory ruling?
I mean, that's always a possibility. And a lot of times, we've seen that happening. We look back to Jamie Dimon telling all of his employees and everyone on planet Earth that if they buy Bitcoin, that they're either stupid or that he would fire them if they work for him. And what was he doing in the background? He was investing in huge Bitcoin companies and directly buying freaking Bitcoin. This has been a strategy that has worked for a long time. You see mainstream media, if you've been in crypto for any amount of time, it's kind of funny. When the mainstream media is trying to put negative pressure, when you see negative after negative after negative after negative move, and then all of a sudden, wait a minute, why is the price going up? It's like they're literally just trying to work against in whatever way that they can. It kind of holds it back, holds it back, holds it back, and then boom. What are they doing in the meantime? They're accumulating. So absolutely, it's a possibility. Now, they could be theoretically also on the other side, to give them the benefit of the doubt, they could be just squirming and just scrambling and saying, where the heck are we going to get all this money? Well, we know that part of this was, maybe some hush money here or hush money there or dinner party money or whatever you want to call it. And so they might figure we can probably get away with clawing back some money, but I don't think it's going to be for the people. That's for sure. They've got to pay legal fees. They've got a ton of stuff going on. So long term, yeah, I believe that if people believe in Cardano and they believe that they can make money with it, most of these crooked entities are willing to do whatever it takes to suppress the price so that they can accumulate. I mean, if I could sit on here and just say anything negative about an asset as I'm in the background, market buying, and I had an impact on the price, we see people do it all the time. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. And candidly, I feel like that's probably what's happening, but you never know. All
right,
like I said,
secretly accumulating, trying to shake out the weak hands. They're scrambling to buy more, and they want you flopping and groping, dumping your Bitcoin. All right, well, let's talk. Okay, I don't know who did the title there. Scam improvement. Oh, show the picture. We got a 90s celebrity. Some of you younger folks are not going to know who we're talking about. Some of you, maybe at least seen Tokyo Drift. That's right, Fast and Furious 3. Yeah, you might remember him. He is the oldest son from Home Improvement, one of the top shows of the 90s. That kid is involved in a crypto scam. We do have someone, might know a little bit about that. I think this guy's been looking in on the case. I believe he knows exactly what's been happening. But Zachary Ty Bryant, and he's been accused of selling fake agricultural tokens to friends, family, and even one of his dates off Bumble, effectively conning them out of $50,000. He started, Home Improvement early 90s, but he got into Bitcoin and was early and was recruited as an investor for Producers Market. They were going to do an ICO. The ICO was going to be related to the agricultural field somehow, but it was eventually nixed. And Brian reportedly continued to push the project. Even though there is no more ICO, he sold access to the ICO, friends, confidence, and even his TV dad is at a loss for words. I do want to share the Tim Allen quote here. It's Tim Allen. I don't know what's going on with him. Zach is a great kid who's grown into a complex man. All you can do is step aside and let someone go through their process. Funny words come from Tim Allen, who's famously trafficked pounds of cocaine in the 70s/80s. So yeah, hey, give him time, Tim. It took you time. Maybe give him some time here. Producers, we do want to share Producers Market's response here. Mr. Brian misrepresented our company without our knowledge, participation, or permission. When we found out, we immediately issued a cease and desist demand to him. So a lot of some 90s drama going on now. AJ, did you ever watch the show real quick? You ever seen it?
I not really. Like
you're one of the
I
younger
know
ones.
what it is, but not really, to be honest.
Okay. Well, just by guessing, I don't want to say washed up actor, but just think of a 90s TV star who is a kid TV star. You can picture your own person in your own mind here. Do you think this was just bad judgment because this is a complex industry, or is there maybe something more nefarious going on?
I mean, I don't know, if like you're on television at a young age, you kind of get like that ego, you kind of like disassociate from like normal reality, and you're used to people treating you differently, especially a show of that magnitude. And I do remember Home Improvement. That was a pretty big deal in the 90s. And like, you kind of have yourself up on this pedestal, and you just expect people to like what you say seriously. They listen when you speak. And he obviously used that privilege that he had for the worst, and it didn't do him or anyone associated with him any favors. I hate seeing stories like this, especially like when anytime people get like scammed from crypto. It kind of like adds to that like negative stereotype that's not exactly true with crypto, but it does exist. But that's also like why we do need regulation, but the right kind of regulation that doesn't like go too far with it. Like we need to stop stuff like this from happening, but we still need to be able to do like X, Y, and Z without them like hanging themselves with the rope we give them. And I also didn't know Tim Allen was involved with that
cocaine trafficking.
Yeah, that kind of changes the scenario when like Santa Claus falls in the snow and comes down your chimney. But
2 points. Good reference there. All right, now Crypto Keeper. I'm pretty sure you're probably one of the only ones who watched the show like when I was in the 90s. Could we pull up this picture one more time? I want to ask you, Mr. Wilson, he was wise beyond his years. Could Mr. Wilson have seen this coming? AKA, more seriously, could his surrounding management, agent, should they have seen this coming?
So Mr. Wilson was always the one with the wise words over the fence, and he would peek over, and if you never seen the show, you could always only see that right there. You could never see his full face, so people would speculate on what he actually looked like, blah blah blah. But ultimately, I mean, I agree with AJ from the standpoint that these people are used to kind of getting their way and people believing and jumping in line with what they're saying. I would throw out there, and this is not an excuse at all, but he might have some drug problems going on, right? There's probably things going on in the background that push somebody to make a crazy decision, or whether it's greed, or whether they're used to always having money and now all of a sudden they don't. They've got to figure out a quick way to get money. The reality is it's hard sometimes. Now, mind you, he's an actor too. So it can be very hard to read through just a normal everyday human being. Now you've got someone who is a paid, professionally taught actor standing there talking to you about business. So someone that's been successful, and they're acting as well. And so should people be able to see through it? I don't know. I mean, people have been able to lie to others and gain their trust in all different types of ways. What better person to do it than a paid actor? So you would like to hope that that he's going to do the right thing and maybe get this money back. He might, do some, I don't know if he probably won't do any time, but probably get, some probation, whatever, that he learns his lesson, and that maybe he can turn things back around, because it is not a good look. And I know everybody always is very, very tight and strict with their money. They don't want to just give it away for a, charitable cause, whatever he used it for.
Yeah. A lot of hot takes on the TV show itself. A lot of strong opinions on Mr. Wilson. Some say he's a peeper. Some say he's a creep because he never shows his face. Now I can't see him any differently. All right. A lot of fans of the other cast members of Tool Time. If you watch the show, you might know what we're talking about there. Now, I don't even know if I should ask about crypto or if I should just ask about Tool Time and Home Improvement. But Jenna, did you ever watch the show?
Listen.
All right. Well, I guess you did. All right. Well, I'll just ask you about Home Improvement. Will we? Well, they're rebooting a lot of shows. Will we see a relaunch of Home Improvement? And do we want a relaunch?
No, absolutely no. No version 2. And besides, Wilson is dead. God rest his soul. But version 2 killed everything. It always sucks. Look what they did to Full House. It made Fuller House. It was not good. It's awful. So just leave it.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah, they ruined everything with the version 2. So just keep it how it is. Like, this dude, though, is seriously messed up. All of these child stars, they get jacked up in the head. Like, he's on drugs, he's on all different things, and he's got 7 kids, different baby mamas. He's out there. He's on these dating sites. He's messed up. Like, I don't know. This dude needs to get some help. I hope he does.
All right. Not holding any punches back. All right, big pay. I guess I'll ask you about crypto as much as I just rather ask about Tim the Toolman Taylor. There's always a risk with investing. I mean, how is this any different? Why should he see jail time?
I think the specific there is the fact that he was giving them access to the ICO when the ICO wasn't happening anymore, and he already knew that. In our industry, a lot of people, they see things go to zero and they immediately think rug. And we oftentimes, forget that investments can go to zero, even if there's no nefarious actors in there. And when we buy an NFT, how long when we buy that NFT are we expecting this person to work on that project, given they run out of funds, given life circumstances happen. So I think in this case, it's nefarious, but oftentimes our industry, thinks people are being nefarious when they're actually just bad actors, like, bad businessmen. Or not knowing how to actually develop things and keep a community. So nefarious here, but I think our industry kind of sees people as nefarious sometimes when they're not.
All right, so sometimes a bad actor can become a bad actor.
Exactly.
That funny. Yeah, okay. If you want to hit the like button, give me a pity like, please give me a pity like on that one. All right, that is all we have time for, guys. This has been a funny show, a great show. So please hit that like button. If you think the Clintons, I'm not even going to say it. I don't have the bravery of the other guests here. If you think, the Celsius money's being burnt, you think that FTX money, maybe went to the wrong place, If you think Seb Rich, never mind. I've already said too much. I think that's all we got. But Crypto Keeper, feel free to leave us with some parting thoughts before I get canceled.
So some parting thoughts would definitely be, don't report negatively on the Clintons. It's not good for your well-being. So we'll leave it at that. But make sure to follow all the creators on here. They are all working hard for you on a daily basis. Make sure that you're following ATB. And then, check us out on Debate Crypto. We've got Around the Charts. So we do this style format with technical analysis. That's on Mondays and Thursdays. So check us out. It is Debate Crypto on YouTube. I love you guys. And look forward to seeing you again.
All right, we have links in the description. Make sure you follow AJ Writes Crypto, Debate Crypto OG, Jenna X Crypto, and Big Pay as well. Always putting out great content. Hit that like button. Until next time, easy out. Have a great weekend.